Hi, lovely viewers. Today's topic is about split-second decision making. Ever wonder how a combat pilot makes split-second decisions that could mean life or death? The intricacy of decision making in combat is a fascinating study. It's a high-stakes game of chess, played at supersonic speeds. Let's discuss this process in detail. At the heart of this process is a principle known as the OODA loop. Observe, orient, decide, act. This four-step cycle guides the actions of combat pilots, helping them react swiftly and effectively in the throes of battle. Observation feeds into orientation, which shapes the decision, leading to action. And then the cycle begins anew. It's a constant, rapid process that leaves no room for error. The importance of immediate decision-making cannot be overstated, but it's not just about speed. It's also about precision, judgment, and the ability to make the right call under immense pressure. This is where training and experience come into play, honing the instincts of these pilots to razor-sharp precision. To understand this further, listen to what actual combat pilots have to say. You hear it straight from those who have been there and done that. When it comes to making split-second decisions under high-pressure situations, few are more qualified than combat pilots. They fly at speeds that defy comprehension, in conditions that would make most of us tremble, and they do so while making decisions that can mean the difference between life and death. One of these pilots recounts a time when he was engaged in a dogfight, his opponent closing in fast. The sheer amount of variables was overwhelming: altitude, speed, fuel, the enemy's position, and not to mention the G-forces pushing against his body. Yet, he had to decide his next move in the blink of an eye. He turned to his mental toolbox, the OODA loop, to guide his decision-making process. Another pilot shares a similar story. Flying through a storm, visibility near zero, she had to decide whether to press on or divert to another course. She was far from any safe landing spot, and fuel was getting low. The storm was unpredictable. A wrong move could mean crashing into a mountain. Again, the OODA loop came into play, helping her map out her situation and make the best possible decision. The OODA loop, or observe, orient, decide, act, is a concept that was developed by military strategist John Boyd. It's a process that's designed to help in situations exactly like these. It's about staying one step ahead, making quick decisions, and then reassessing the situation based on those actions. One pilot explains it as a constant cycle of observation and adjustment. You're always observing your environment, orienting yourself, deciding on an action, and then acting on that decision. But it doesn't stop there. After you've acted, you're back to observing, seeing how your actions have changed the situation, and then beginning the process all over again. As you can see, these pilots rely heavily on the OODA loop. But what exactly is it? So, what is this OODA loop that combat pilots swear by? You might be asking. Well, let's break it down. The term OODA stands for observe, orient, decide, and act. It's a decision-making process that was originally developed by military strategist and United States Air Force Colonel John Boyd. The first phase, observe, is all about gathering information. Think back to the combat pilot stories we heard earlier. Remember how they spoke about scanning the skies, checking their radar, and listening to their radio? That's the observation phase in action. They're collecting data, looking for potential threats or opportunities. Next is the orient phase. This is where a pilot takes the information they've gathered and makes sense of it. They assess their surroundings, the enemy's position, their own position, and any other factors that could influence the situation. It's like when Pilot Smith spoke about realizing he was flying into a storm and having to quickly weigh his options. Then we have the decide phase. This is where the pilot makes a choice based on their understanding of the situation. They might decide to engage an enemy, change course, or call for backup. This is the moment when Pilot Johnson decided to take evasive action after spotting an incoming missile. Finally, we reach the act phase. Here, the decision is put into motion. The pilot executes their chosen action, whether that's firing a missile, making a hard turn, or communicating with their team. Remember when Pilot Thompson described pulling off a daring maneuver to evade enemy fire? That was her action phase. The beauty of the OODA loop is that it's cyclical. After the pilot takes action, they go right back to observing, orienting, deciding, and acting again. This allows them to constantly adapt to rapidly changing circumstances, which is a critical ability in the high-stakes world of aerial combat. Now that we understand the OODA loop, let's delve into how pilots train to make these high-stakes decisions. Training is key in preparing for the pressure of decision-making in combat. Now, let's delve into what this preparation looks like. Combat pilots undergo an intense regimen of training to sharpen their decision-making skills. Picture a blend of the physical, like grueling fitness sessions, and the mental, like intricate strategy games. A significant part of their training involves the use of simulators. These high-tech tools recreate the stresses of combat, allowing pilots to practice their response in a controlled environment. They simulate a myriad of scenarios, from engine failure to enemy attacks, requiring pilots to make split-second decisions under pressure. Physical training is also critical. It enhances stamina and resilience, essential when enduring the physical demands of flight. Mental exercises, on the other hand, enhance cognitive flexibility, allowing pilots to adapt their strategies on the fly. Through rigorous training, combat pilots master the art of quick decision-making. But what happens when things go wrong? Even the best-laid plans can go awry in the heat of combat. When everything is spinning out of control, when the enemy is closing in, and when the unexpected happens, how do combat pilots handle it? The answer lies in resilience, adaptability, and the ability to think on one's feet. These are not just qualities, they are lifelines in the sky. Resilience is about bouncing back from adversity, about picking up the pieces when things fall apart. It's about standing tall in the face of defeat and saying, "Not today." Adaptability, on the other hand, is the art of changing course mid-flight. It's about being flexible enough to navigate through stormy weather and strong enough to withstand the turbulence. Thinking on one's feet is the ability to make split-second decisions that could mean the difference between life and death. It's about trusting one's instincts and making the call when it counts the most. In the end, it's a testament to their training and the power of the OODA loop that our combat pilots can make these life-altering decisions under extreme pressure.